Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me as always is my wife, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is July 22nd, 1999.
It is?
We watched an episode of 90210.
Yes, we did.
The end of the world as we know it.
Love it. Love that song.
Not, and I feel fine though. Yeah, I like that. So there's two parts of that song. There's it's the end of the world as we know it, and then there's
Right? Yeah.
So good song though. So they talk a lot about Y2K in this episode. I love anytime the 90210ers want to explain a concept or talk about something. Usually it's something that's going on in popular culture at the time. It's like an after-school special or like some kind of weird infomercial kind of thing. Like remember when Chandler and Rachel explained the internet? There's that video. It was like the Friends characters like, what is the internet or whatever? And like,
No.
oh, Monica, it's this or whatever. Yeah, there was a video about that. Anyway,
Weird. Okay.
it's like that because like they're all sitting at the Peach Pit, and it's just like, oh, Y2K is coming, and it's all these codes, and what about the banks and so that they think it's 1900 and you can't go to the ATM, and they give all this information, they explain it. It just goes like one to the other to the other. It's like person to person. Everyone's got a little thing to chip in and everything, and it's like it's just so like artificial and cheesy.
Yeah, they don't really know how to write good dialogue.
No.
One of them said the computer scientists have known about this for 40 years.
That's what Steve Sanders says, yeah.
I can't believe that that's true.
Since 1959.
Right. Like, they were like, oh, no, when the year 2000 comes, we're going to have a problem.
Good for 1959's voice. What if they'd known about it in 1949? Nah, see? When the year 2000 comes, we're gonna have it all over our face.
When was the first computer made?
In the 40s, I think, the like mid to late 40s. I think so, like sometime after World War II, I think.
But I mean, like, they didn't really catch on in popularity, like, for a long time.
No,
And
they
I'm just
weren't.
thinking
They weren't in people's homes.
if they actually knew about it, like, way back then, it probably would have made sense to do something about it at the time instead of just being like, well, that's their problem in the future.
Well, I guess so. Like in 1959, computers probably. First of all, I don't even know if that's true that they knew about it for 40 years. But in 59, there would have been no computers controlling bank software, like controlling any kind of bank accounts. Like that wouldn't have been a thing. I mean, like like it's they're sliding credit cards by machine, with the mimeograph thing and everything. Like it's different.
They had credit cards then?
Yeah, the Diners Club card was like the first card, and that was, I want to say maybe 51, something like that.
Interesting.
And not that credit cards were super popular; they weren't till probably the 80s, I guess. But they had them. But yeah, so they wouldn't have controlled very much at all. So computer scientists were probably like, "Who gives a fuck? Whatever."
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that makes sense.
I also we've talked about Y2K before on the show, and neither one of us think it's going to be anything.
Probably not, but still, maybe take some of our money out of the bank just in case.
Sure, why not?
Just in case.
Have some cash.
You have no idea what's going to happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Now, Dylan says he's going to start stockpiling things. And
Just to fuck with Steve.
yeah. Like, I think it's funny that he just knows that Steve is not going to be able to handle, like, the thought of it, and that Steve's going to, like, nobody else is like, oh, okay, I'm going to stockpile too. But Steve, he knew. He knew he'd do it.
Yeah. Steve's the freak of the group.
Apparently, he's very easily influenced.
Yeah. So several storylines going on. Where do we want to start? Which one do you want to start with? I know which one I'd like to end with. I don't know which one you want to end with, but
I mean, we can start with Steve since we already started talking about it.
Let's talk about Steven.
So he goes fucking crazy after this conversation and starts buying like spam, like cases and cases of spam.
Except they call it Smeat.
Yeah.
Because spam is a registered trademark of the Hormel Corporation, so.
And what did he say? It was government cheese, like
surplus,
yeah.
Surplus government cheese, yeah.
My dad loved government cheese.
It's like Velveeta or whatever, right?
I guess, but he was super excited about it. Like when he'd go get the fucking like food, whatever.
The food, whatever.
I don't know. I just heard the story.
Food stamps.
But it wasn't. They gave him cheese.
Yeah, I guess. Well, that's true. They used to do that, like
before food stamps.
Mm-hmm. They have. You know what? I used to know some people that got food stamps, and for those of you that don't know, I believe they're switching it over to like different things now. But food stamps, they send you a packet of stamps, like actual coupons, and it's like it's like money. It's a sheet, and it's $1, $5, $10, $20. I think $20 is the most. But however much money you get, there's sheets of it in this like book, and you just take them out and use that to pay. Now they'll give you change in food stamps, except for change.
Okay.
So I used to know people that would take the food stamps out like dollars at a time, and then go get like a pack of gum for $0.25 and get 75 cents change. So they would use that to get money, like actual money.
It's crazy that food stamps buy gum, but yeah.
Food stamps buy anything that's food, yeah.
But gum's not food. You don't eat gum. You just chew on gum.
Some people
you
eat
don't
gum.
swallow it.
It's a food product.
I guess.
Candy, it's the same thing. It's also a food product.
But Steve is very, very focused on his now big concern about Y2K.
Well, both concern and like fucking price gouger or whatever. Not price gouger.
Yeah, I forgot he said he was going to sell the shit.
What do they call them? It's not price gouging, but like when someone when there's a disaster in the area and someone like buys up all the water or whatever and then fucking sells it. It just charges, like a racketeering or whatever. That's fucking what it is.
Yeah, that's what he says he's going to do. Because, I love that they take all the character growth he had and just turn him into, the worst person on the show again.
But I feel like that's a cover. Because I guess Janet's right. I guess that's what because Janet is like, hey, we're supposed to go on a vacation, our first ever vacation as a couple to Hawaii, and we'll be there for the millennium. So what the fuck? We're not... Why are we worried about this or whatever? And he's like, oh, I don't know, Janet, because that week right before is going to be prime, freak out time and stuff, and I'm going to want to be there to price gouge people.
Yeah.
And she's like, this is about our relationship. This isn't about fucking whatever. And he's like, they end several scenes with him with that dumb look on his face, that dumb concerned look that he gives, where he's like, argh.
Yeah, because she's just freaking out and saying that he doesn't want to commit to her and storming away, and he just stares after her but doesn't actually argue, which... It
feels like a huge overreaction on her part.
It really does.
But then apparently I guess it's not. Because there's several scenes where the exact same thing happens. He talks about price gouging people, she talks about the vacation, and nothing gets resolved. Until the very end, when he calls her over there pretending that he... lost the layout.
Yeah.
The entire layout of the paper. And he's like, look, I've had 3 big relationships in my life. Celeste, Carly, and Claire. And for the first time I realized all his significant relationships were C's.
Yeah. Alliterative.
So he's like, but then they all left me. So when I think about our future, I'm scared that you'll leave me or whatever. And it's true, because they did all leave.
They did.
They not only did all of them break up with him, they all fucking left the state.
Oh, did Celeste? I don't know if Celeste left the state.
Yeah, she did.
Oh. Wow.
She went to get some help in fucking New York or whatever.
Yeah.
She went across the country.
You're right.
Claire left the country, and Carly went to Montana.
Alabama or something. Yeah, Montana probably, yeah.
Something like that, I don't know.
Somewhere that's not California.
Carly went to star in a movie
Okay.
because that actress is going to be in a movie.
Which movie?
Boys Don't Cry.
Okay.
Yeah, we're going to watch it later.
Yeah. But Steve and Janet's, he surprises her with candles.
Mm-hmm. And Smeat.
Yeah.
Did you notice that?
Yes.
That he the what he prepared was Smeat, and it was like it was in little bowls that looked like cat food. It was like, wow, that's like fancy feast, guys.
Oh my
You're
goodness.
really splurging.
Yeah. No good. No good. Have you ever had Spam?
I thought you were going to ask me if I've ever had fancy feast.
No.
No, I've never had Spam. I
Yeah, me
don't
either.
like the look of it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's spiced ham processed in a can.
My mom loves it. She'll like cut it up and fry it in a pan and eat it.
I've heard from some people that fried Spam is supposed to be good or whatever. I don't like ham to begin with that much. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll eat ham. I don't like pork products in general that much. Sausage and bacon is like the exception. They're heavily spiced. But, I mean, other than that, I don't really like any pork products, so...
I love ham,
Yeah.
but the idea of Spam is very off-putting, so I've never tried it.
I liked the Monty Python sketch. Spam, 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 spam. You don't remember
so silly.
Spam?
No.
It's a big Monty Python thing.
Anyway,
Yeah.
they make up. Steve,
They do.
pleads his case, and
They kiss, and it's like, oh, I'm not going to be an asshole anymore, I guess, about the, making people fucking pay for flashlights or whatever.
But there's-
cornering the market on spiced meats.
but they're still not going to Hawaii because he wants to be at home with their family and loved ones.
Yeah, she canceled their reservations because he wouldn't. See, at first I was like, I don't understand why she's so pissed. But then he was like, I don't know if I can go to Hawaii. And it's like, no, that's an asshole move.
Yeah.
She made these reservations and you're like, I don't know if I can do it.
Yeah, agreed. Not cool.
Although I guess we do have a while till, although not for them, right? Because we're almost caught up to the show, but I think we're still, so this is July. I think they must be in August maybe or September. Oh wait, no, I guess not, right? No, they're behind us.
Yeah, I was trying to figure out what the fuck you're talking about.
No, they're behind us. So yeah, they've got a while.
Yeah, they've got more time, not less.
So that was a long reservation.
Yeah, they said it was 8 months in the future.
She could have waited it out, I think, a little bit.
Yeah, 8 months in the future. So,
But yeah, that's their storyline. So now, then we have Donna. Donna and Noah, kind of. And mystery date. Open the door to your... And then we've got the one I'd like to end on, but I don't know how you want to do it. The Kelly, Matt, Gina, Dylan trifecta. And then I guess the only other significant storyline is David and Nympho. Katie was her name, I think?
yeah, I think so, but... Okay, so we can talk about David and Nympho.
Okay.
So she had told him last episode that she wanted to have sex with him.
Yeah.
And she was out of town, and she called him.
Yeah, and she's like, oh my God.
As soon as I get there, I want to make love to you.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Doing like that
Fucking
900 number voice.
Seriously.
Yeah.
She's like,
Oh, David.
exactly.
So she shows up to his house early.
Yeah.
He says, I wasn't prepared, which is weird.
Yeah, I don't
But,
know.
like,
Maybe he does one of those things where he dips his genitals into lemon juice or something so he lasts longer.
or maybe, like, he didn't buy condoms.
Yeah, maybe.
She's going to be pregnant now. Maybe he just wanted to take a shower first.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe.
But,
Maybe he wanted to do several push-ups. And get that pump going on his arms.
right. But they have sex, and immediately she's turning on the TV, and he's like, what are you doing? I don't get this. Like, to me, that wouldn't be a giant, like, red flag that something was wrong.
Yeah, I don't... Yeah, it's really weird. He says to her, he's like, I read about your condition while you were away, and I know that right after sex is like a big, really vulnerable time for you. And she's like, no, after meaningless sex, but that's not what we did, And she's like, I just like David Duchovny. And she mentions David Duchovny a couple times.
Who is David Duchovny?
From the X-Files.
Okay. Yeah. I knew that name, but I couldn't get it.
And then, so he's like, well, let me take a shower and wash you off of me because you stink. And then she leaves.
Yeah, he's talking to her from the shower about how he wants to go get Chinese food because it's the best after-sex food.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
These, the specific Chinese food, people line up for it after sex. It's like, what are you talking about? How do you know that?
Right? So like, hey, I just got some.
Right? There's
Kung Pao chicken.
There's drippage or something like that. What's going on?
But yeah, like he just hears the door, like she leaves. That is a dick move.
Mm-hmm.
And then she goes back into his booth the next day.
He was in her booth. Yeah. She visits him at the booth.
Which, like, that's kind of ballsy. Like, hey, I walk out on you, and the next day let me come bother you at work.
Yeah.
Lady, get it together.
So she's like, I didn't love what she was wearing either, by the way.
No, it was fine.
She says to him, hey, so this is difficult and everything, and she's like, I think you're the guy for me. I think you're a good guy. Most of the guys I've been with all they want sex and they want to get to sex as fast as possible and everything. And you're so patient. And he's like, well, I was with Donna. So. And he's like, why'd you choose guys like that? And she's like, I didn't choose them all. I certainly didn't choose my dad. And it's like, okay.
Why do they keep putting that out there in this show?
I don't know. I really feel like one of these writers needs to get investigated or something.
Or maybe they need some therapy. Maybe they're using the show as their therapy.
Maybe,
I don't know.
But it's disturbing.
That is not a common enough thing to bring up over and over and over.
Although I don't know much about nymphomania. I assume that molestation might be a trigger for it.
I have no idea.
I don't know anything about it really. I would think that nymphomania would be fine as a condition if you were in a committed relationship and if you didn't stray. Yeah. Don't you think?
Sure. If she just wanted to have sex all the time, I'm sure he wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I think that's manageable, right?
But
I guess maybe there's levels. I don't know. Maybe you could want way too much sex way too often.
Yeah. I've heard of people having sex up to 3 times a day. That seems excessive, but
it's a lot.
I think the problem with being a sex addict, though, is that she is an addict, and so, maybe she was using it incorrectly.
I guess that's true. There's a psychological reasoning behind it, and she needs to work on that.
Yeah.
But anyway, so she comes to him, and she goes to him and says that she's like, look, I want us to be together, but we can't have sex for a year.
And he does not look happy.
No.
I don't blame him. That's a really long time.
Yeah. So then she comes over to his house to go see a movie, and she can tell it's like, this is not good news.
Yeah, she's like, there is not a popcorn in my future, is there?
And he's basically just like, how you look for certain things in a relationship, like somebody that's funny or smart or good looking or whatever. He's like, well, sex is one of those things for me, and basically he says I can't live without sex for a year,
or I can't be in a relationship without sex for a year.
I like David as a character. I guess I kind of get where he's coming from and everything, but I think it's kind of shitty.
Oh, I don't. He already dealt with Donna.
Yeah.
Why go through that again?
I would wait a year for you. If you were like, hey, I can't have sex for a year or whatever, I would be fine waiting.
Well, thank you, sweetie. That's very nice of you. You're in love with me. He's not in love with her.
I guess that's true.
And she's
very good looking.
She is very good looking, and I'm guessing she had a lot of practice. She's probably pretty good at sex. But if that's not all he cares about, what else is there going on? And all he knows about her is that, and then the emotional baggage that she's carrying. So
I guess that's true. That is so. more than just not having sex for a year. That's a big thing to get into, to be like, hey, let me get close to this person and actually really start to care about them and like maybe even fall in love with them when I know I'm going to have to deal with a lot of emotional shit. And like, she's got a lot of stuff. I guess I feel bad for her.
And maybe if they have sex in a year, she'll freak out again.
Yeah.
She'll be like, hey, I need another 6 months or, whatever.
Yeah, that's true. You never know.
Hey, you get laid once a decade with this woman who supposedly loves sex.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah, that is crazy. I didn't think about that, but yeah, I guess that is tough. So they break up.
Yeah, and like I said at the time, like David really does have some really bad luck with women.
He really does.
I wonder how many times they're going to break his heart before they let him get back together with Donna.
No shit. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with Donna. So I feel like the Donna and Noah stuff is separate from the other stuff, but all the rest of the storylines are very intertwined. So we're gonna have to kind of talk because they're competing ones, but they all come together. So we're gonna have to talk about them together. But Donna and Noah and Donna's beau or whatever we can talk about. So the episode kind of opens almost, second scene anyway, with Kelly and Donna in Now Wear This.
And it's like a recreation of the scene where they meet Matt.
Yeah.
They're both checking this guy out who's sitting at a table in the like little cafe area outside of her shop.
They both have boyfriends.
Mm-hmm. And she goes over to look at a magazine, which is the same thing she did.
Yeah, that's right.
And she says something to the guy, and she gets all flustered. Mm-hmm. And she's like, I couldn't help noticing how you look.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck, lady?
Yeah, I think it's supposed to be another, like, slapstick comedy thing, but it's not that funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, she's like, oh, no, I mean, like, you look like a model. And like,
I designed clothes.
Your cock is delicious. Or whatever, But like, so she basically says that she designs clothes and she wants him to model for her because she's making this men's line. What do you think about this guy? Is this guy this good looking that he would have all the girls tongue-tied, do you think?
I mean, he's pretty good looking.
Yeah.
I mean, he's definitely better looking than Noah. Well, the Muppet.
Yes. That's true. Hey,
but,
Bert.
But I feel bad because Noah is going through a lot in this episode. Mm-hmm. Because at the same time as this is going on, Matt has decided to do this class action lawsuit.
Matt that's in whatever kind of law is convenient for the week.
Right. Going after companies that put chemicals in water that gave kids cancer. Mm-hmm. And it just so happens that Noah's dad's company is one of those. Noah's not even involved in this company anymore.
Yeah.
It's just called, whatever his last name was, I don't remember. Noah.
Hunter.
Hunter.
It's Hunter Oil.
Hunter Oil. So he's going after Hunter Oil, and he gets Dylan to financially back this.
Yeah, because he's doing all this pro bono, so he needs money for the research and whatever.
And he tells Noah, hey, I'm going to need your help to go after your dad's old company. Mm-hmm. And Noah's like, fuck you.
Right, exactly.
You're not going to, first of all, he's very confident. He's like, you're not going to find anything anyway. And then he starts going through the stuff that he's asking for. Mm-hmm. And he must have found something because he decides to fucking burn it.
Yeah, we're skipping several steps.
I know, but we can talk about, fill in the steps. Go ahead. No. What did I skip?
What do you mean, what did you skip? The entire episode is what you skipped. You skipped fucking Matt going into Noah's room to get CDs and Noah freaking out.
Oh, yeah.
And Noah saying, like, hey, I can't live at the Walsh house anymore. And how that intersects with Donna's storyline and everything.
Yeah.
All the stuff that... No, not... Yeah, you skipped all that. I love how indignant you sound. And then you're like, oh, yeah.
Anyway.
So Matt and Noah are butting heads because... And Noah's butting heads with Dylan because Dylan's his boss. or the owner or whatever.
The owner of the building.
But also like friendly with Noah or whatever. But he's also with Matt's fucking helping this thing, and Noah's. You know, they don't understand class action lawsuits either. They do not come together this quickly. Mm-mm. Like he has the entire class set already. Do you know how fucking expensive it is just for client outreach? Like to try to find all the clients and get them all together and get them all to sign on to your law firm. That's like 90% of the battle of a class action lawsuit.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah, well, you know, they play fast and loose with the law and Matt's position.
Yeah, because he practices every sort of law known to man.
Exactly.
Next season, one episode's going to be him. They travel to England and he becomes a barrister or something like that.
Right.
I'm familiar with English law as well. But anyway, so yeah, Matt comes into Noah's room to get some CDs he borrowed months ago or whatever, supposedly. Mm-hmm. And Noah's like, yeah, you just fucking decided to come in here now? You fucking thief. You're fucking looking for shit. And they're like, and Matt's like, hey, if I ever want anything, I'll fucking just take it because it's called Discovery or whatever. And it's like, no, that you don't just take it. You have to subpoena evidence. You have to know the evidence exists, and then you have to subpoena the evidence. That's why people can and sometimes do try to hide evidence.
Right.
Like, so later in the episode, well, okay, first of all, Noah comes to Donna, and he's like, I can't fucking live at the Walsh house anymore because of Matt and everything. So, like, I'm thinking maybe we can move in together. What do you think?
And she's, like, hemming and hawing and, like, yeah, sure, it sounds great. But you can tell, like, she doesn't really want to.
And she's all giddy about this fucking dude, this model dude. She says to Kelly, she's like, I drew his initials in a heart last night.
Yeah, it's funny.
And she's like, ink or pen or pencil, which I guess makes a difference.
I don't think so.
And she's like, pink highlighter. And she's like, oh, that's
fine.
Why? What is the hierarchy of writing utensils?
I think this is so stupid.
So, yeah, she's clearly not interested in it. They're in bed later, and he's waking up. She's just staring at him. Mm-hmm. And she's like, yeah, I was just thinking about moving in with you and stuff, and I'm thinking maybe we should. And then there's a knock on the door. Mm-hmm. And it's Matt saying, hey, I need all that information. All that information about your dad, I fucking want it. And he's like, you can't fucking have it, fuck you, you know. And he's like, you're withholding evidence, and you're going to force me to go to the judge and get an injunction or whatever. And it's like, that's not how any of that works. Mm-hmm. Subpoena the information. That's what's supposed to happen.
But he thinks he can just ask for it and Noah should just give it to him. And it's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, like, I get both sides of this because, like, Noah's dad's dead and he no longer owns the company. So it doesn't really hurt Noah, but it hurts his dad's memory. Yeah. So I'm sure that's why he wants to protect that.
Yeah, exactly. But so then Donna's like, oh, let's look at some places together.
Yeah, he's like, I gotta get out of here.
Right. So yeah. That's when has like a 360 on it or whatever, or 180 on it.
And she has the model guy come in so she can, like, pin stuff on him, and they're, like, very flirty. Mm-hmm. And they have a lunch, and he, at lunch, tells her that he does not have a girlfriend. Yeah. He's like, we're going to be working together. You should know I don't have a girlfriend. And gives her, like, a look and stuff, and she doesn't say shit.
No, she doesn't say she's a boyfriend. Later, she tells him she has a boyfriend.
Yeah.
And then, so I'm trying to think if anything happened. You know, nothing else happens in between. Basically, after the whole thing with Noah and him being upset, she calls this dude to meet her for cocktails. She dresses in a very revealing dress. Mm-hmm. She's got her hair all done up.
Oh, yeah, she looks real fancy.
She's sitting there. He sits down, and he's like, hey, you know, what's up? And she's like, I don't think we should work together anymore because I'm moving in with my boyfriend, and our relationship is progressing. And he's like, yours and mine? And she's like, no, stop. And she's like, there's no future here or whatever. And he's like, oh, really?
She's like, I am unavailable.
And he goes, oh, really? Is that so? And then he kisses her, and she kisses back, and then she really kisses back. Full on making out with this dude.
Yep. So she is cheating on Noah again.
And that's how the episode ends. That's the last thing that happens. And we fade to black, so I guess we'll have to find out if they fuck or whatever next episode. But yeah, like, this is the second time now she's cheating on Noah.
Because she doesn't want to be with Noah.
No, just fucking break up with him.
I mean, I get it. Like, he lost his money. His dad killed himself. Like, no, I don't mean that's why you shouldn't be. I
get why you wouldn't want to be with him anymore. You were with the Muppet because he was rich. Now he's not. I get it.
Although, she is pretty shallow.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, emotionally, he's been going through a lot because his dad killed himself and he lost all his money.
Yeah.
So I get why she hasn't, and he went through the alcohol problem. So that's why she hasn't wanted to break up with him. I get it. Mm-hmm. But if you're this unhappy, just leave him.
Yeah.
He'll find somebody else.
It's time. He'll get off the show. It's fine. We don't need him anymore. Right. We don't need the Muppets. He was here to replace Dylan. Dylan's back. Get rid of him.
Let him go.
So that's that storyline.
Okay. So this storyline, the last storyline, has to do. Well, it starts out with Kelly and Matt are babysitting her little sister Erin.
Erin, yeah, who's now like
10.
Looks like she's 10. Yeah,
she's a big girl now.
Fucked up.
Obviously, she's not 10 because she was not born in the first season of the show, but probably like 8.
Yeah, like not too far into the show, really. I don't think.
Yeah,
I don't remember how far in, but
yeah,
she's older.
They put her to bed and then start making out and start like fucking in the living room. And like, do you not understand that this little girl could just get up? Like, she has to go to the bathroom. She wants to drink water, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, you don't just do that. Or like the parents could come home.
Kelly's bent over the back of a couch.
Right?
Yeah, it's not good.
Ridiculous.
But
poor judgment.
Unbeknownst to them,
they're being filmed.
Yeah, there's a nanny cam going on, which apparently is just like constantly on, I guess. Because later, Erin is like, "Oh yeah, that's the nanny cam. My parents have been interviewing nannies, and they want to see if we get along when they're not around." And but it's like, okay, so
it's like nobody's made it so far.
They just left that running. It's fucked up.
It doesn't make any sense. Okay, there's only so much tape. Mm-hmm. On the tape in the camera. And they're supposedly leaving it just running and recording. But it's just a tape.
Yeah.
It's not going anywhere.
No.
So, like, how long is this tape? And then later, it just happens to be queued up to the perfect spot.
Exactly.
That makes no sense either.
Because it had stopped and rewound, apparently. Because she's like... So, Erin and what's his name? Brian Austin. David are playing cards. Mm-hmm. And... she's like, oh, the nanny cam. It's like, we were thinking first, we're like, oh my God, we're like...
they're going to see it, yeah.
Yeah. Well, first we thought the parents were like, oh, her poor mom's gonna see Kelly being pretzeled on the couch or whatever. And then it's
apparently it was the coffee table.
Right. And then it's like, oh no, Erin's going to see her sister being violated. And then because they had the Something About Mary tape, that's what they were going to watch. I guess the kid wants to watch There's Something About Mary.
Yeah.
So she takes the tape out of the VCR, puts it in the Something About Mary box, and then hides the Something About Mary tape under her shirt.
So now you have this unscripted sex tape.
Yeah, unscripted.
In the Something About Mary box.
What if they had scripted this sex tape? All right, first you're going to...
Oh my goodness.
So, yeah.
Then how does it end up in Dylan's hands?
I guess Dylan and Gina just take it because it's, I don't know. They're at the beach house, right?
No.
Oh no, that's right. It's Jackie and Mel's
mom's house.
Yeah, I don't understand then. I don't know. But Gina and fucking David end up with it.
Dylan.
Maybe Gina borrowed it from David, I think.
Okay.
Or Dylan borrowed it from David.
It's weird.
They got it from David.
Nobody goes to Blockbuster? Like,
right. They got it from David, I know, because somebody says David had it. Because after they turn the tape on, they're like, where the fuck did David get this?
yeah.
But yeah, they go to turn it on, the movie, and immediately it's, like you said, queued up to the exact right spot. Not even them putting her to bed. Somehow it's like the tape just started when maybe it's motion censored.
Maybe.
And they walked in front of it.
That actually would make more sense.
That means they got to the end of the tape. Wow. Bravo.
But yeah, so they start kissing and they're looking at each other lovingly and all that before they fall on the couch.
And Dylan is not happy.
Oh no. Like Gina is loving this. She's like, oh my God, this is great. She's just laughing on it. She's like, ah ha ha. And she sees how upset he is and she is not happy.
Would you feel like Gina if you saw a secret sex tape of your friends? Would you be like, oh my God, let's get into this?
I'd watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Would you?
I guess it depends on what friend, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, if it was, Kelly and Matt, I mean.
If it was, yeah.
They're attractive people.
If it was attractive friends, sure.
So yeah, she's really excited about it. And so then in the morning, they're at the Peach Pit, and she's like trying to tease Kelly and Matt about it.
But they obviously don't know what she's talking about. So it doesn't make a lot of sense.
And Dylan is just pissy. Like,
oh my God, he is so angry about this thing.
And she's like saying to Kelly and Matt, she's like, we saw this movie last night, and we've been arguing ever since.
I thought it was romantic, but Dylan doesn't think so. He's like, I'm leaving.
Yeah. He is so pissed. So, like, apparently he's just, like, fucking watching this tape.
Yeah, later we see him, and he references the coffee table, which is not a part we see.
No.
So...
that was a later.
Yeah. But later we see him just watching it, like, basically over and over again.
Yeah. And he's got, like tears in his eyes.
Oh
like, they must put some eye drops in there. Yeah. I don't know, because that is not real.
No, they put some Visine or whatever in them. Or, yeah, whatever it is.
But, yeah, he's supposed to be, like, very emotional about this. Why would you keep watching it, though? That's fucked up.
I think it would have been hilarious if he was watching it and then they cut to him and he's on his knees, like when his dad's thing exploded. He was like, ah!
Oh my God. Oh. He says something to Kelly. Mm-hmm. How did they get in the conversation, though? I know they were having a conversation and he throws it in her face.
That's later. So what happens first is they're all teasing about it and everything. The club is hosting Monica.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Gina and Dylan are like... Gina's pissed at Dylan because she's like, you're so angry about this tape, and I know why you're angry about this tape, because they look like they love each other. You can tell on the tape.
She says this bullshit, though, during the fucking Monica concert.
Well, yeah, because what happens is like... they cancel the Monica concert or whatever, but Dylan has her come out just for Gina. So it's just the two of them.
Yeah, he closes the whole club down, pays Noah off for the night for Monica to perform just for him and Gina. Mm-hmm. He, brings her in blindfolded and is like, oh, look, and he's trying to be good, nice, and romantic. The only time he's ever done anything nice for her.
Right.
And
Monica sings her hit song.
Angel or something?
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, they're like a minute in and she starts talking about how he reacted to the tape and stuff.
And they do that thing where, like, the background sound, like, kind of drowns out so you can hear that she's still singing, but it's like they're talking. And, yeah, they're very rude to Monica. I don't like it.
Like,
Monica's performing for a group of two.
And she said, I've never performed for this size crowd before.
And she's, like, after what this happens, Monica's going to be like, I'm never fucking doing this again.
No. I don't understand why she couldn't wait.
I don't either, because this is not the time or the place, but she brings it up. Out of the blue, she brings up about the tape and everything. She's like, yeah, they're in love, and, like, we don't have that or whatever. That's, like, we're in fucking lust or whatever. And he's like, yeah, well, like, he does his whole, like, broody thing. And like,
If you want to ruin this, ruin it.
yeah, and he like kind of like turns to walk off or whatever, and she's like, I know that you slept with Kelly in Mexico. And he looks at her and he's like, how do you know? And then she goes, it's the classic, like, because you just told me, kind of like, it's almost dumb, but it's supposed to be like an impactful moment or whatever. And then she walks off, and it's like, poor Monica's just like finishing up her one song. Like, I can just imagine, like, after that, she just kind of turns to her bandmates and be like, I guess we're done. Like,
Right. Yeah, Dylan's literally sitting there with like his head just on the chair, like he looks like he's crying almost.
yeah.
I'm sure that was really comfortable for her.
No shit. What the fuck? So anyway, what happens after that is now she knows. So Dylan comes to Matt's office because Gina and Matt are working together. That was established last episode. And he's, Matt's got lunch and everything like that. And he's like, hey, we're going to get these fuckers or whatever. We're going to get these people that are screwing over these cancer kids.
Yeah, the class action thing.
And Gina walks in and he tosses her a burger and he's like, hey, lunch on me or whatever. And she's like, I'm going to eat it outside. And she turns to walk away because she sees that Dylan's there. And so Dylan walks out and they have this conversation where she's like, yeah, I know you're not here for me. You're here to protect Kelly, right? And he's like, don't even fucking think about telling Matt or whatever. And she's like, yeah, because you want to protect her. You don't give a fuck about me, but you care about her or whatever. And she storms in there and she's like, you going to tell him or am I going to tell him, Dylan?
And so Dylan tells him.
Dylan says, hey, in Mexico, I fucked her.
He says, I slept with Kelly.
Okay, whatever.
And Matt is just like his face falls. He's so upset.
Yeah.
Like he honestly looks almost more upset than Gina.
Yeah, Matt's like, well, your fucking our business arrangement's done, Moneybags. So get the fuck out of here.
Take your money and go.
Yeah, like what the fuck?
So then he goes to Kelly, and he's like, "Hey, you want to tell me what happened in Mexico?" And she looks terrified. She's like, "What do you mean?" And he's like, I don't know. I just thought you might want to tell me so later when we look back on it, we'll know why we broke up or something like that.
Yeah. Well, he's like, I heard Dylan's version.
Yeah.
Now I want your version. Yeah. And he says all that fucked up shit and then he leaves. And both you and I think were like, he does not have a right to be this mad.
No, because he was married and working on his relationship with his wife.
He can be kind of mad.
Sure.
He can be a little bit irritated that this happened. But to be this pissed off and be like, I don't even want to fucking hear your explanation for this or anything.
He says there is no explanation.
Right. Like, that he doesn't even want to talk to her. He's basically just like, we're fucking done. I think that's unfair. He was fucking his wife at the time.
Yeah.
Like, and working on that relationship. Dylan cheated on Gina, no doubt. But Kelly did not cheat on Matt.
No.
Now, what she did was pretty shitty. Because, it's fucked up towards Gina. And it's, I guess, somewhat fucked up towards Matt, I guess, in, like, a very small way. But they weren't together.
Right. And so eventually she goes and talks to him again.
Well, real quick, though, I want to bring this part out, too, because this is a fun little thing that happens. Gina's crying in the bathroom and everything, and Kelly comes up and she's like, hey, I want to talk to you. I want to try to have a chance to explain. I'm sure there's things you want to say to me or whatever. And Gina's like, yeah, there's stuff I want to say to you. And she takes her pink lipstick, and she just writes slut on the mirror and underlines it a bunch of times and then walks away.
And it's an interesting shot because we see them both in the mirror. Like you can see, she's writing over Kelly's reflection. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's actually a decent shot. Yeah, that's the only interaction they have. And then Gina continues her rampage. This is when Dylan. Well, we'll get to Dylan and Kelly in a second, but we've seen Dylan has been watching the tape or whatever, right? So Gina comes, knocks on his door, and he's like, oh, you got my messages. And she's like, yeah, all 200 of them or whatever. And she just fucking lays into him and stuff. And she's like, you know what I figured out? In Mexico, Kelly was using you because she couldn't be with Matt because Matt was with his wife. She was probably thinking of Matt the entire time. And after seeing him on that tape, who could blame her?
Like, yeah, that's so awful.
It's just like she didn't want to leave that as a message on his answering machine. She didn't want to write him a note that said that. She wanted to see the look on his fucking face when she threw that right in his lap. And oh my God, it's like the best acting he's ever done. Because he looks fucking devastated.
Yeah.
And then she just walks away. So, I mean, obviously they're done. Because Matt's been told, and Matt has come and fucking thrown it in her face, Kelly goes immediately to Dylan. And like, what the fuck? I thought we weren't talking about Mexico. What happened? Mm-hmm. And he's like, yeah, I didn't mean this for this to happen. And she's all pissed off. And he's like, well, you know what I saw? I saw a fucking tape of you and Matt having sex. And she's like, what are you talking about? That's not even possible. Shut up. And he's like, yeah, you always use the coffee table like that or whatever. And she's like, oh my God. Like, she's like, how? He's like, there's a tape. I don't know how the fuck it happened, but there's a tape. And she's like, I want it. And he's like, I smashed it to pieces.
Which is a lie.
Yeah, because later we see he's watched it.
Awful.
So then the last kind of little bit that happens here, the last two bits, I guess this is kind of out of order, but who cares? He comes over to her place and gives her the tape. And she's like, I thought you smashed it. And he was like, nothing on there you should be ashamed about or whatever. And he's like, I know that you found somebody that you care about and whatever. You've been able to move on. It's like, I wish it was me, but,
Yeah. Yeah, he's like, he's obviously in love with you. You're obviously in love with him, so.
Even though, we think they're breaking up or whatever, but Kelly comes over and she's like, hey, you were fucking with your wife when this happened.
Yeah, she says this to Matt.
Like, are you really this pissed off? And he was like, you should have told me. That's not the point. You should have told me. And he was like, when you said you were moving to New York to be with your wife? When you were fucking moping around like an asshole after she decided to leave and go without you? When was I supposed to tell you? And he's like, oh, so you think you should be forgiven? She's like, yeah. And he's like, oh, okay, I forgive you.
Yeah, it was...
It's
so easy.
It's so weird.
It really, just does not make sense. He was like, there is no excuse. And then she explains herself, and he's like, okay.
All right, fine.
Like, how do you go from I don't even want to be with you to just, I forgive you.
And then he hugs her, and it's all over.
Whatever.
Now, here's the thing. She's right. He can be irritated. This can be a thing where it's like, look, I'm kind of mad at you, and maybe let's spend a day or two apart, like kind of thing. But yeah, it's not a break-upable offense.
No,
because she did not technically, morally, or whatever cheat on him.
Yeah,
he was with someone else, his wife at the time. They were not together.
Agreed.
But yeah, that's the entire episode.
Really good episode.
I was gonna say I really liked the episode. Lots of interesting stuff happened. I'm very curious to see. I don't know exactly where they're gonna go with Dylan. I don't know where Gina's gonna go at this point. The thing I'm most interested to see is the Donna Noah situation. Yeah. That's gonna be interesting.
I really, really hope she breaks up with him.
Yeah, I want him to not be in the next season.
Agreed.
No offense to the actor, but I'm just not into him.
No.
But that is the episode for the week. Carol, tell people where they can find their own male model to cheat with.
So you can write us at latefee1994 at AOL.com. Uh-huh. You will not find a male model to cheat with. Sorry, he's mine. You can check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com.
Yep.
And share the tapes with your friends.
I will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.